Here's another clip of a mom doing her very first listening time. You can't see the listener's totally off camera. The mom is really smart because she goes slowly. She allows feelings to rise. She doesn't try to talk over them. She's not urgent to explain. She lets the feelings come and says a little bit and lets more feelings come. This is a very good way to go about things. When feelings arise, you really want to allow them to come up and out, to be expressed as fully as you can let them go. She's still, pulling back on the reins a little bit, but she is allowing us to see where her heart lies and is lining out what she wants to do as a parent very nicely through this short listening turn. The listener off camera says a little something right towards the end as the listening time is ending, and what is said there is a little question to help her focus again on how she wants things to be. And what the listener says is, what did you want to say to your son? That's what's said there in case you can't hear it. And this allows a little bit more crying before the turn is over. Take a look.
So, and I think I'll probably cry too. So, I think where I can start talking is, sorry. I don't mind crying, but it's hard to get the words out at the same time.
Actually, don't hurry the words. Okay, just let the feelings come. There's a few places where it's okay.
So my mother had kind of a long illness and is now fine, is healthy. But for a few years, my growing up was ill and really depressed. And I felt really resentful of her. And she seemed so defeated, and I wanted her to be so different. And so I really thought that I would be a really different parent and much more fun than she was. And I actually have a diagnosis of MS. And I'm doing very well, but I find just in, not even related to my health, just as a parent, lately I just feel like defeated. Kind of mother role, and I hate it. Like with my son. Just, not knowing how to help him and not knowing who to talk to and how to ask for help. I just feel like I'm in this place that is really not how it was supposed to be. Was not in the plan. And so kind of finding that I'm remembering back to those days, and just, I want for my kids, like I don't want a household full of tension and full of I feel like the relationship I have with him is turning more and more negative. I really try not to make it that way, but I don't really know how to change it a lot of the time. So I feel like his kind of view of the world and of his place in it is really negative. change that. I feel like he's fearful. It's hard to watch, you know, it's just a couple years ago, he was such a happy little, you know, little kid. And I feel like he's already, you know, just like jaded. You know, I feel like he kind of feels defeated before he starts. It's such a hard thing to watch. I just worry about where it's gonna go.
What do you wish you could say to him? His first thought.
I mean, I would say you're amazing, capable, and he's so kind and funny. He's worthy. Thank you.
Okay. I'll ask you a little question.
Sure.
Okay. Things people decorate their feet with.
Rings, anklets, toenail polish, the crazy stones, shoes, socks. Something like that.
Okay.
Okay, now a little nuts and bolts here. Who do you choose for a listening partner? How do you find a listening partner? You know, how in the heck do you get started? Well, you have a sixth sense. I think almost all of us do. There are a few people who've been hurt badly enough to lose this sixth sense, but we'll leave them out of the equation for now. We have a sixth sense of who can listen, whose mind is more open than closed. You know, who can really pay attention to someone else. You know, who is not totally absorbed in their own world and their own views and their own way of doing things. So you want to find someone with that sixth sense. You can kind of go through the people you know, and you can pick a friend, you can pick an acquaintance, someone you don't yet know very well, but maybe it's a parent whose child goes to the same school your child goes to, or a parent at your temple or your church, you know, a parent down the street who has had a sparkle in their eye and has seemed quite friendly, but who you haven't talked with yet. It could be a guy at work that you know who has been pretty positive most of the time. Just someone who you think could probably listen well and is motivated to be a better parent, motivated to really try to put attention on parenting. We tend to encourage you to choose another parent because you'll learn a lot about parenting if you do, but you can choose really anybody. The person doesn't need to be a parent. Just choose someone who you think is able to listen and is thoughtful about their life and wants the chance to build better support for themselves so that they can reach their goals in life, you know, so that they don't have to, you know, fall down with discouragement and stay down for months or years, you know, so that they can talk about the difficulties, bounce back up, and keep on moving forward. So kind of think about who you know, maybe make a little list, and I don't know, then you can start asking people. But we'll talk about asking people in the next segment. Right now, you want to find someone, not necessarily that you feel easy with, just someone that you think can pay attention. So you don't have to feel closely allied to this person. You don't have to feel like your politics are the same. You don't have to feel like their way of parenting is the same necessarily as yours. If you're looking for a carbon copy of you, you're going to be looking for a long time. So now I highly recommend finding someone who is possibly quite different from you. You know, possibly a different background, possibly they grew up in a different place or in a different country, possibly they didn't grow up speaking English, but someone who looks like they've got what it takes to pay attention for a while to somebody else. And they've got the motivation to really think about parenting, or at least to think about their lives and allow you to think about parenting when it's your turn. There are no gender barriers. If you're a mom, you don't have to pick another mom. If you're a dad, you don't have to pick another dad. You know, pick somebody you think is thoughtful, you know, regardless of gender. However, if you're crossing the gender barrier, you just need to make sure that you're not looking to fall in love or marry somebody new. You really want to think about parenting. That's all you want to do. It's very helpful to delineate that. This is not a date. You know, this is not a come on. This is like, I really want someone to listen to me while I think about parenting, and I will return the favor. That's all I want to do. That's really what I want to do. So if you're crossing the gender barrier, you can make that really clear. And it's a good idea not to add the things that we do that make us feel like we're being nice, or we're being social, or we're being polite, or we're filling people's expectations of what it means to be polite in proper society. So when you're starting a listening partnership, you don't want to offer the person tea when they come over, you know, or give them, a soda to drink, or you don't want to, bring out the cookies, and you don't invite them to your Thanksgiving dinner. And it's like you really want to keep this an uncluttered listening relationship just for that purpose. This will help clarify what's going on here. It will help keep the relationship sort of undisturbed by all of those expectations and feelings of obligation that tie us down. It's like, as parents, we're tied down enough. You don't need one more person to invite to your Thanksgiving dinner. You don't need one more person whose birthday you should remember. You don't need one more person to offer cookies to every time they come over. Who needs that as a parent? You've got plenty of that already. What you want to do with this person is just listen, so you can make that clear. Your goal in the listening partnership relationship is to assist them to really concentrate on what they want from their life, where they're going, what gets in their way, and how they want to be. So you want to listen to all of that about them. If they're a parent, it will all come pouring out, I'm pretty sure. And then you want them to listen to you while you do the same, while you concentrate on what kind of parent you want to be, what kind of parent you thought you were going to be, what happened, as parenting really took place and became real. Where are you delighted? Where does it get hard? What would you like to change? That's the purpose of the relationship, is to have a chance to deeply explore those things, first on their side and then on your side. And to learn how to be of powerful assistance while this parent works on, making parenting what they've always wanted it to be. So you'll both learn really deep and very interesting things about the human emotional healing process, and about assisting people when they are really working to become their better selves. So you're not going to socialize. You're not going to hang out and watch the ball game together after your listening partnership. You're not going to have to agree on anything at all. You don't have to agree on, what school is the better school. You don't have to agree on politics. You don't have to agree on, who to vote for city council. None of that matters. What matters is letting one person think, trading the favor. You don't have to be nice in all the conventional ways. You don't have to prove yourself, and you're not there to entertain them with your stories. You don't have to be an entertaining person while it's your turn to explore. You really don't even have to talk at all. Some of us can reach our feelings much better if we stop talking, notice what's roiling around in there, say a word or two, and let it come forward. So even talking is not necessary. You don't have to tell them what you're working on. You know, if you have had something very, very hard happen and you don't feel safe telling anyone about it, you don't have to. You can just have the feelings and say, I can't tell you about this yet. I don't know when I'm going to be able to tell you about it, but I really need to cry, or I really need to laugh. This really made me edgy. And then just go right ahead. So it really is to better one another's thinking and better one another's functioning by aiding this emotional healing process that works so well, that all of our children were born with and are trying to use 24 hours a day. Driving us crazy. So probably the person not to choose for your first listening partner is your parenting partner or spouse. Probably not your mother or your father, unless you have a really exceptionally warm and equal relationship there. Probably not your brother or your sister. You want to choose someone that is one step out of the family circle because of this simple fact that when we're trying to examine our feelings and our experience with someone who's in our family and knows us well, they get upset and disturbed and offended by the same kinds of things that you do. They have different feelings about it, but the same kind of incidents, the same kind of difficulties give them a hard time as give you a hard time. So they're not going to have an easy time being a listener for you. You want to choose someone who isn't within the four walls of your house most of the time, I think, so that they can listen to you without having a stake in what you think or what you say or how you feel. They can really, really listen. They're not involved, except as an assistant to you. So there are ways to listen and use the listening partnership power to support and assist, but you want to learn how to do that first with people outside the four walls of your home. And then bring your knowledge and your expertise and your skills back in. Just find someone outside the inner circle of your family to try this with. And I'll talk a little more about how you set this up, what do you say to somebody in the next segment.